This week on a very special Odd Dead Out podcast. Not that kind of very special. Those are weird and creepy. But I have guests. This week I am joined by my oldest sister, Raevyn Lunatik, and her daughter, little Jae Sinclair. Professional names for her particular reasons. But Raevyn is here kind of for fun and kind of to promote the launch of lunatikfitness.com and her fitness program and Lunatik Fit Camps. And little Jae Sinclair is a rising star in both in the Phoenix and LA burlesque and fetish dance sort of industry. And it's crazy to think of my little niece in that sort of craziness, but it's just a fun time to be had, and there's no way to describe when my family sits down together, especially with microphones, other than total chaos. Fair warning, it's the train of thought just goes completely off the tracks. Things get really crazy. And believe it or not, this is a severely cut down version of what we sat down to do. So, again, this is a long intro and long warning, but this was over 2 hours long. I trimmed it down for what you will be presented with, but it's lots of fun, lots of chaos, movie and pop culture references abound. So, without further rambling on my part, let's just get to the fun, shall we?
Beginning Odd Dad Out podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Odd Dad Out podcast, where normal is not my specialty, especially the two lunatics that are sitting here with me today.
I resemble that remark.
Quite literally.
How rude.
Because this
How very
week,
dare you.
I literally have...
Literally
have Raevyn Lunatik.
Hi.
The oldest of my siblings.
Here I am.
And her more senior spawn.
The lady spawn.
The lady spawn. Little Jae Sinclair.
Good morning.
Because we'll just stick with that for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what's funny is I actually can tell, certain, people I hang out with or whatever groups, I can tell who's known me the longest and from where by what name they call me by.
Yeah.
Same. And most people in my current circles don't know my real name. Like, they know me as Raevyn or they know me as MG, but nobody actually knows, people that have known me for 10 years.
Don't know your actual
Don't know
name.
my actual name on my birth certificate.
Yeah, and a lot of, my friends who do know my real name, they, in public, they'll call me, Little J or Jay, and, but in private, they call me by my real name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Family full of aliases.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I'm not so much aliases, it's just the name of the show, and it's just kind of funny when it basically became my social media name.
You're just online identity.
Yeah, that's my online identity that Rihanna made for me. And so, like I said, she named everything.
Yeah.
With
me, it's like with Raevyn, that became my identity through most recently through Derby.
Yeah.
Through playing roller derby, but even it's gotten to the point now where even just outside of derby, I still, people know me as Raevyn. So
yeah. Exactly.
With me, it was more kind of scrambling at the last second because that was about around the time when I started doing burlesque, and I wanted to not use my real name. And then it
creating a professional alias sort of thing. Yeah.
And I feel like it kind of says who I am because it references Little J from Gossip Girl, and also it sounds like Sinclair is kind of like sin and sinful, and that's pretty much.
And it just kind of
thing.
It sounds like a fancy burly.
It's got a certain ring to it.
Yeah.
What's bad for me is that when I hear Sinclair, I think Earl Sinclair from Dinosaurs. So that's where my brain goes. Yep. That's where my brain goes. That's the only Sinclair I've got reference to. So.
See, and for me, I always go to Dolly and Ellen. Colleen Sinclair and Ellen Sinclair.
Oh, yeah.
Dolly de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is a family full of references.
It is. But these are people we actually know.
No, I'm just, words. Moving on.
You usually need to have those for an audio format.
Drink some more coffee so you can word better.
Yes. I don't know how to human.
I'm going to plant now.
I share DNA with these two.
That sounds disgusting.
I know.
I didn't say swap DNA with these two. That would be disgusting.
No, sharing DNA is pretty. It's like, we don't know where that DNA came from that you're sharing with us. Like, seriously, we don't know where you've been. Oh, wait, I do.
Yep.
Have you washed your hands recently?
I do know where you've been, and you know where I've been.
That makes it worse.
No
Yeah.
one knows where I've been.
I do, and I'm terrified. I'm half terrified and half super proud, so there we
Okay,
go.
good.
Yep.
Thanks, Mom.
Aw.
'Cause family.
Touching moment. Audio
She-
format. Nobody can
Yeah,
see the
nobody can
uterus.
see you
yeah.
actually touching her.
I just touched my mom's face
Yep.
because it was a touching moment.
It was a touching moment, so she literally
I
face palmed
literally-
me by palming my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dear famdamly,
Yes, sir.
what brings you back to the show this week?
You asked us? No.
Yeah,
I've never been.
Besides
Yeah,
that,
exactly. That was primarily
I think
it.
Yeah,
was
Jay's never
more-
been.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, yes. Because when you guys were doing the episode, drinking with family, or
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, that-
it was
way back
you,
in the day.
It was
Yeah.
you and I and Dee and
it was Glenn
And
too.
Rihanna and Glenn was there.
Rihanna and Glenn.
Yeah.
And we were all like, everybody except for Glenn and Dee were drinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
but
Because
I was
That's what you
listening
do.
to that, and I was like, I need to do this because it sounds like a blast. And here we
know a
are.
guy.
And we know a guy.
We know a guy.
Yeah, you know?
That we share DNA with.
Yeah.
But so for you, it's your first time on this podcast.
Yes.
And it's my second time on this podcast. But
I'm
no,
here-
we actually do stuff other than just annoy your uncle.
Yeah.
You don't
Although-
annoy me that often anymore because y'all live far away.
No, you live far away, honey. We live in the middle of everything, and you're like far AF.
Mhm.
Because Phoenix,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Although I do sometimes like verbally bitch slapping you on Twitter because it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
I usually start those fights though, so
I just don't take your shit.
yeah, pretty much. It's like if if we can't actually physically smack each other back upside the head, then
Yeah.
we just do it across Twitter.
Which
Exactly.
we still need to do the physical smacking upside the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just occurs to me I have not actually, assaulted you since we've been here.
Yeah,
No.
I figured, I felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
Like I forgot something.
Yeah.
it's family that's weird.
Yeah.
It's like it's weird. Nobody's been hit yet.
Because nobody can see us.
Yeah.
But that's why.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there would be familial bitch slaps
yes.
around.
I think it's because Rihanna's not in the room to disprove of me abusing my family, so it was like, it takes all the fun out of it.
I think bitch slapping people is like my third favorite thing to do.
And
It's true.
If that's
in your
third,
line
I
of
don't
work-
want to know what 1 and 2 are.
in your line of work and your profession and everything, that's actually valid.
Yeah.
Because people ask you to bitch slap them.
Yes.
Yes.
I've broken a nail bitch slapping someone, and it was actually pretty fun. I wasn't even mad about the nail.
So for the so
Yeah, I was like, that
for
was
the
going to
sake
kind
of-
of go to is like, since you brought it up, what is your line of work,
What do you
officially
do?
speaking?
Yes.
So I'm a superhero. I'm just kidding.
If you're a superhero, you need to be doing more than bitch slapping somebody.
I am
the
a
incredible bitch slapper.
I am a burlesque performer that specializes in sideshow and shock with a little like classic influences and drag influences, but also do like alternative modeling and stuff too.
Yeah.
And I just had my first like bio queen like drag performance last night with some burlesque in it too, which was fun.
Okay. Lots of big fancy words. No.
Do I need to break it down?
Yeah. How would I put this? You're British. Turn it down a bit.
Okay.
Not British, but the joke works.
Yeah.
Because I understand what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners might not.
Listeners may not understand all of the big schmancy burlesque industry terms you just threw out there.
So like take us through like a typical Jae Sinclair show.
A typical Jae Sinclair show, as far as an actual performance, you can expect glitter, fake blood, candle wax, cigarette burnings, boobs, booty, staple guns, real blood, fake blood, all kinds of props and things. It's a good, sexy, scary time.
Yeah. Fear boner.
Yes.
Men.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
But a lot of people do, enough people do, that she actually has a legit fan base in the Valley and also outside of the Valley. So.
Yeah. And I see you do a lot. You're like constantly like traveling out to LA and stuff and doing shows out there. And
yeah, I was, sorry, Mom. I was just in Lancaster on Friday.
Doing a show for the Amish.
The freaky Amish, I guess.
That's what's the word? Rumspringa.
Yeah, Rumspringa!
We're off to see the burlesque show. Yeah. I don't know why they decided that's what the Amish sound like today.
Did you ever watch that show, Amish in the City? The Amish reality show of like...
I saw the first season of Breaking Amish. Which from what I understood was like 90% staged. It was basically, here's our story. We're going to recreate some stuff that happened to us. But that was my understanding of how that all played out. Yeah,
Amish in the City was kind of like an extended Rumspringa. It's basically a bunch of Amish kids were given the option of doing a reality show and spending time in like the city with normal, civilized, non-Amish roommates and experiencing things. And it was all documented. And then at the end of the show, they were given the option of either staying in the city and living there or going back to their Amish community. Yeah. And it was interesting. I think there was like one or two out of like the 5 of them. There were 1 or 2 that actually went back to being Amish, and then a couple that stayed. But yeah, it was like these 5 Amish kids with 5 regular kids, and they were all roommates together in this apartment in like some big city. And it was kind of like going like weird cultural things.
The real world.
I'm not familiar.
Punxsutawney.
Yes.
I'm not familiar.
You're not familiar. You're quite unusual.
This was a few years back. It was...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her.
Ladies and gentlemen, come to the stage a few years back.
That's my new band name.
Seriously, there's a severe shortage of band names. All the good band names have been taken.
That's my new ska punk band name.
I go back to the Plain White Tees just for the fact of, come on, seriously, your fucking name is the Plain White Tees? And I figured there needs to be like a parody band of them that all show up in Snapple bottles.
I agree. There needs to be a burlesque troupe called the Plain White Tees, but...
Oh my god, yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
That needs to happen.
That needs to happen at Hump Day.
Yep.
Yes.
Either a burlesque group or a drag queen. I don't know, it seems...
It can be a theme for Hump Day.
It absolutely should be a theme for Hump Day.
Yes.
Plain White Tees. Yes.
So when I become a producer for Hump Day, I'll do that. Or I may approach it to one of my comrades.
There you go.
I've got an idea, comrade. I can't do a Russian accent. My voice is fucked right now.
In communist Russia.
In communist Russia, they hump you. My phone screen just died.
I see that. That's
what happens when you have toddlers.
Indeed.
And fidgety fingers. And you start peeling at the part of your phone screen where they were fucking with it, and then you just rip it off.
My fuckers, man.
My phone case is like falling apart, and I don't even abuse it. It's just kind of there.
No, but you abuse yourself, and your phone gets damaged in the process. You know, when you do stuff that involves fire and grinding mechanisms and heavy machinery. Sometimes your phone gets caught in the crossfire.
It does. It's a casualty.
Not if it's actually
occupational
no.
hazard.
Yeah. I've had lamp oil spilled on my phone before, and I almost had a heart attack because I was performing with Agents of Lust, which is a fire and grinding and stuff like that, and someone knocked over lamp oil. I'm like, like, no.
Yeah, because when it comes to phone insurance, liquid is liquid.
Yep.
I dropped a phone in a fryer. I didn't drop it. It fell off of my belt clip into a fryer.
Oh my God.
So about 300-degree oil, my phone fell into the fryer. It still worked.
That's impressive.
All the little like side, the little like tabs.
I'm just picturing like the panic moment of like if you drop your phone in the toilet and then you just kind of instinctively like reach in and it's like, and then you realize after the fact, oh, I just stuck my hand in the toilet.
Yeah.
Ew. You know, because you just instinctively want to grab your phone and save it. Yeah. I'm just picturing like the resisting the instinct to reach into the fryer grease.
That's like Caroline and Nick and Nora.
Because I've spent so many years in food, I worked that reflex out. Yeah. I've dropped plenty of things in fryers, and I can
honestly say I've never dropped anything in a fryer.
I've known of guys who, like, back in the day, like, it was like, oops, I dropped it into the fryer without the basket or something like that, and they, like, dove after it, and I've heard horror stories about, like, oh, he dropped a corn dog in the grease without the basket, and he just instinctively dove after it and shoved, like, up to his elbow in the fryer in, like 2 seconds, in and out, and it was like, damage is done. Yeah. It's oil. It sticks to everything.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to see it, but it's going to be cooking for a bit, and you got to spend several minutes iced. But I managed to avoid that reflex. I fished it out quickly, but all the little tabs, back in the day when you would have a little tab that covered your charge port and headphone jack and all that stuff, all those melted off.
Oh, I'm sure.
But the screen was caked with oil and crap like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, under the screen is all greasy, but it's still, and like the mic, everything was all caked, but it still worked.
Yeah.
And it was a pre-touch screen era phone. So it was a slider, but it still worked. And after it cooled down, I was actually able to call Rihanna and say, hey, my phone is messed up. So if you try and call me, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
But it worked for a couple of days, at least until I was able to go buy a new phone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
happened.
Yeah, the worst for me is just dropping my phone in the toilet. Oh no, I take that back. So maybe not as extreme, but just more interesting just because of the environment. It was the first time that Slayer and Marilyn Manson toured together and did their tour. And Dee and I went and we met up with some friends I had at the time. And it's out at it's changed names so many times, but
so
at the time it was
the Desert Sky Pavilion.
Yeah, at the time it was Cricket Pavilion.
Yeah.
It's been like every other kind of pavilion since then. But
who owns
the big
this week pavilion?
Yeah, whoever owns it this week, it's going to be named after their business.
Yeah.
Big outdoor show. We had lawn tickets, and it's hot out. It's summertime. It's a metal show, so everybody's in black.
Yeah. Because we're smart like that.
Exactly. Because metalheads don't fuck around. But they always have the giant water cannons up at the back of the lawn to between sets to like cool off the crowd and keep everybody.
Oh, they have those at Warped Tour, and they're super nice.
Yeah, they have them. They have permanent water cannons at So I wanted to run up to the water cannon to get hosed down and cool off, and just drenched from head to toe by the water cannon. After the fact, I remembered that I always keep my phone in my back pocket, and I had been, hosed down multiple times by the water cannon at the Slayer concert. And yeah, it was pretty severely drowned, and there was no saving it at that point.
Yeah, that would definitely kill the phone.
Yeah. Killed the phone. And I said it's not anything as dramatic as like dropping it in a fryer or anything like that. But, again, it's like cooler because it's the environment. It's like you're at Slayer,
It's like my phone died at a Slayer concert. It was murdered by a water cannon.
I drowned.
Brutal.
I drowned my phone at Slayer.
Somebody over here is trying to fight a giggle fit.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious, actually.
I never not giggle.
This is true.
You can tell me I'm going to die in 7 days and I'll be like cracking up, falling on the floor, like face red.
Really?
Yeah.
You are going to die in 7 days.
Probably from just, lack of oxygen to your brain.
Entirely possible.
That would mean having one, but whatever.
I told
Oh, snap.
how dare. So there was, I forgot when it was or what the context of the conversation was, but I remember telling you, Mom, that if I were to choose my death, then I would want to go buy a firing squad to go out with a bang.
If you could hear my eyes rolling right now.
The man cannot eye roll hard enough. See, and this goes back to a prior discussion that we had off the air of cheap puns aren't good and good puns aren't cheap.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I got a billion of these.
This is why we can't have nice things, young lady.
So let me ask you a question. If you don't pay your exorcist, do you get repossessed?
These are the kind of jokes that Rihanna tells. That's the problem. These are Laffy Taffy rejects right now.
Yeah.
She will read me the Laffy Taffy and think they're the greatest jokes in the world. And that's...
Well, her favorite show is also Dino Trucks, so...
We're so behind on Dino Trucks.
See?
I don't know that show.
The shame.
I don't know her.
The shame of it all.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, we're we have to prioritize. Supernatural comes way before Dino Trucks.
Word.
So, and I'm, because I'm more of a nerd, I'm trying to catch up on all the CW DC Universe shows, and I am almost caught up with last season of Supergirl. Mm-hmm. But that's it.
Supergirl's okay, but that's just Dee and Glenn, that's more their thing. Yeah. And then our thing is, Drag Race.
Yeah, Drag Race.
RuPaul's Drag Race all day, every day.
Skin Wars. But as far as superhero series and stuff like that, right now I am obsessed with Jessica Jones. Not because it's just aside from it just being an amazing show and well written and everything, it hits really close to home. So I'm just yes.
You've got super strength too, and
she totally does. She's a closet superhero.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson is totally her bestie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish Rosario Dawson was my bestie.
Dude. Dude.
She just seems like she'd be the most fun person in the world to hang out and get drunk with.
And I feel like she would be...
You look at the movies she's done, you're like, you've been in that, and wait, and that, and what?
She did Clerks 2 because there was a donkey show in it.
Yeah.
That's what sold her on. She's like, there's a donkey show? I'm in. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much.
And then yet she was in Men in Black, too. Mm-hmm. But then she's also basically the linchpin of the Marvel Netflix universe.
I thought it was DC. Is it? I don't know.
No, it's Marvel because Jessica Jones is...
That's right. Jessica Jones is Marvel, and then and she's part of that, and then Daredevil and
Defenders, Luke Cage,
yeah.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Fist can, go fist himself.
I am the Iron Fist.
Wait, here we go.
I am the Iron Fist.
I am the Iron Fist.
I've seen all of the series except for Iron Fist because everybody said it was so awful. I was like, no, I'll pass. It's a cheesy character anyway.
Yeah. You see, and I just can't, for me, I just can't, the whole comic book movie and TV show thing of all the Marvel and DC characters and stories all being converted to television and film now, just to me, I'm just so ridiculously over it that I just have none of them really hold my attention at all, especially not the movies. So Avengers and Iron Man and Spider-Man and all of that. Seriously,
there are a few exceptions.
Guardians of the Galaxy was stupid. I'm sorry.
How dare.
I haven't seen the second one. I want to.
Scott Pilgrim.
That's not DC or Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the superhero.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Scott Pilgrim and Sin City and
Sin City I couldn't get into either.
Oh, I love Sin City.
I hate
Sin
Jessica
City
Alba,
is, yeah. Sin City are beautiful films.
Yeah.
They're not great movies.
Yeah.
They're very well... They're visually
appealing, but that's about it.
That's really the reason why I like it so much is because of the art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
it's that whole film noir look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I
it's not about it's Frank Miller. It's not the movie. It's because it's, was the Spirit. They did the same thing with the Spirit, except because they'd already done it in Sin City. They're like, oh, well, you're doing the exact same thing you did in that other Frank Miller novel you guys adapted. Mm-hmm. And this one isn't as well received. So we're not going to go see that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I could watch Sin City on mute, but hey.
And I think that's kind of how I would have to watch it to enjoy it is on mute because,
that movie was sold with a lot. Like, oh, look, it's Jessica Alba playing a stripper, except you're not going to ever see her naked. So what the fuck?
Well, same thing with Rose McGowan in Planet Terror.
Yeah. I think
it was kind of, they played up way too much in those movies that, like, oh, you're going to see, like, this person playing a stripper. I was like, no.
But you
see
never
somebody playing a stripper. You go watch striptease and see
her machine gun leg was way sexier than
her stripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But come on, machine gun leg.
She became like the badass, like was killing everybody with the machine gun leg and the whole thing. Then that was awesome.
I think that's an easy, like a fair trade. Like nudity, machine gun leg.
Oh yeah, no, I would rather see girl with a machine gun leg, like just annihilating all the bad guys versus, basic hoe grinding on a pole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Coming from a basic hoe who used to grind on a pole. Yeah.
Same.
I still would rather see that.
It's funny. I actually heard, not to drag all into that whole thing, but I heard an interview from Robert Rodriguez where he said he cast Rose McGowan in that role literally as a middle finger to Harvey Weinstein.
That's awesome.
That he had heard from Rose at like an industry party, her story of what happened with her and Harvey.
Yeah.
And because he was like, hey, why didn't you audition for this movie? And he was like, I've been blacklisted by the Weinsteins. I can't. And he was like, oh, really? And she told him the whole story and everything. He was like, well,
you're going to have to fill me in on that.
So
Rose McGowan is one of the ones who was assaulted. She was actually raped by Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, apparently, word is that there was a $100,000 payout to her. And so she had a non-disclosure agreement. But yeah, so she wasn't allowed to talk, and she even said she was like, "Oh, I could get in trouble just for telling you this story." And he's like, "Well, Robert Rodriguez is like, hey, well, my contract isn't with Harvey. My contract is with Bob, and he has no control over my movie.
Yeah.
So guess what? I'm going to put you in my next movie." And he walks over, he takes Rose, walks over to Harvey. He's like, hey, Harvey, have you met Rose? I just cast her in my new movie. Or that movie that your company's producing, I just put her in it. And the entire point of him putting her, it was in Planet Terror, was as just a shove it.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not allowed to talk, but I can do something and really stick it to Harvey. And
that's awesome.
Good.
Because I absolutely follow Rose McGowan on Twitter and just all the stuff that she posts and hashtag Rose Army. Yeah. Faux realsies.
And so sometimes I think she gets a little.
She get very militant with it, and she gets carried away and gets a little. She absolutely gets militant with it, but at the same time, it's like, how do you tell somebody to tone down their passion when they've got a cause?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I did like when she called out Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
It was like, it was like Ben Affleck is over there. It's like, oh, this is a terrible thing, and when she's like, you literally told me at a party. I told Harvey to knock this shit off. Mm-hmm. So you knew and you didn't do anything about it. So don't sit there and tell the press that you didn't know he was such a perv.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew. Everybody's known all along.
Everybody.
Now everybody's trying to do damage control for having been silent about it.
I've been seeing on Twitter that one Courtney Love gif circling around where they're interviewer is like, is there any advice you could give girls in Hollywood? And she's like, yeah, if he ever approaches you to go to a party, say no.
Yeah.
I remember.
And it's like Courtney, and the whole thing is like Courtney Love tried to warn everybody X number of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there's been no point in history where you can take Courtney Love's word as a bit of good advice.
Yeah,
so
and she
wasn't a reliable source for 90% of her life.
She did. This was during a period, though, where she was actually kind of had, cleaned up her image quite a bit, and she was actually getting a lot of movie roles and doing well.
Yeah,
she got
level-headed.
Yeah, the People versus Larry Flint.
People versus Larry Flint.
One of my favorite movies.
Minnesota. She had done a couple other movies after Larry Flint, and I think she actually got a I don't remember if she won it or was at least nominated for the Golden Globe for Larry Flint.
Yeah.
Still cracks.
But she was like getting to invited to all the stuff, and she actually was really kind of working on cleaning up her image and was doing well. But there's still those people that just like, oh, it's Courtney Love. She's a freaking crazy, junkie and a hot mess, and we're not going to take her seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, yes, she has this reputation from, before, and she does have a history of drug addiction and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, maybe part of it could be, nobody's taking her seriously, not necessarily because of who she is, but maybe that's why she's not, is because she's lashing out because she's not being taken serious when it is serious,
Right.
And now she's acting out.
Yeah. Like I'd heard all of the, Courtney killed Kurt rumors, and I'd never really heard all of the details of it until recently, as I was listening to Hysteria 51, and they did a whole special on music conspiracies. I was like, oh, wow, that's all the shit? When you put it like that, it's like I'd never heard all of the kind of I knew there was a lot of questionable, shady stuff about Courtney and Kurt and all that, but I'd never heard of the details of it.
Yeah.
It's like even the guy she hired to prove that she didn't do it was like, I think you did it.
Yeah. I honestly, regardless of it, I still just having grown up in that era and listening to Nirvana and, it's like, you look at Nirvana and everything they did and you listen to the music, and it's very much like when Chester Bennington died. It's like,
it's right there, clear as day.
All of the evidence and his cries for help are in the damn music, and with Nirvana, same thing. Everything was just so self-loathing and self-deprecating, and he hated his celebrity, and he made a point to like let the world know that he hated the celebrity. So do I think that relationship was healthy? No. Do I think that Courtney was a good thing and a good person, positive influence in his life? Absolutely not. But I don't think she killed him.
Yeah. I think,
but I think she certainly capitalized on it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she still fights with Dave Grohl over the rights to music and images, and I think they're fighting right now because somebody wants to release some of the pictures of the body.
Oh yeah, and that's crap.
Yeah, that's shitty. I was like, why are you going to do that? And I was like, there's nothing to be gained from that.
Like, what's even the point?
There's like freaky, like scary super fans out there that want to see that stuff, and then there's like the Hollywood underground that capitalizes on seeing horrible things like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like with like pictures, the pictures of Marilyn Monroe's dead body, you know, things like that. And it's like,
or Amy Winehouse, seriously. There's people that want to see it. And because it may be a small, weird fringe group, but because they're there, they're willing to pay a lot of money for shit like that.
The fringe will pay a lot of money to feed their habit.
I feel like there's something that kind of links all of those, like together, not just like 27 Club or anything like that, but it's like fame does something to a person, especially in like that kind of like Hollywood, like level where you kind of like something in you like snaps.
Well, yeah, I mean, and a lot of that is coming out with all of with all these sexual assault and whatever allegations that are coming out now. I think, people are just getting sick to death of it and standing up and saying something finally. And it makes you wonder if like a lot of these deaths and due to ODs and addictions and
is because they just
everything else from back in the day, it's like maybe some of it could have been prevented if, these these horrible things didn't happen and they weren't being covered up. You know what I mean?
If the culture of Hollywood wasn't so shitty to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like ruined perfectly good people.
Yeah. And like as far as fame and the whole celebrityism or whatever the fuck I'm talking about, is like create like
celebrity status.
Yeah, celebrity status is kind of muddying up their like I guess I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. My words are getting all twisted. Like I know it in my head, but I just can't word properly.
Yeah. Try more gum. House of 1,000 references.
Yes.
Martha Graham, Martha Graham, Martha Graham. Or Twyla. Or Michael Kidd. But you keep it in here.
I pierced the toast.
Albert,
you pierced the toast. So what? When I was living with Corey, one of our favorite parts to quote was "Al, you old so and so. How about those dolphins?"
Oh my god! So funny story tying into how we just totally derailed the previous serious train of thought and went silly.
Because us.
Because that's how we do. Yeah.
Can't stay serious for too long. What the fuck is that wrong?
Yeah. Nope. This family is so ADD. Like seriously, we can't even.
I've had 3 conversations with one person, all at once at the same time.
Yep.
Pretty much. But funny story. Like the first time I went to Florida for the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, we arrived trying to get the cheapest flight there that we possibly can. And so we arrived at like 4 a.m. We're just kind of milling about the airport because nothing is open yet. We get a cab and he's like, "Where do you want to go?" Like, so we're getting on a cruise, but the port doesn't open till 10 and they don't start boarding until like noon. So we don't know what to do until then. Do you know what's even open right now? He's like, "Well, I could take you down to South Beach. Like there might be some places there. If not, you can just hang out on the beach." And I'm like, "Cool, whatever. That's fine." So we're like lugging our luggage behind us and carrying all of our stuff, just walking down South Beach. And we find this hotel that has, like one of the few restaurants that was open at that time in the morning. It was like 5, 6 in the morning at this point, but they were open and it's like this hotel and they have this lovely outdoor sidewalk cafe. We're like, "Oh my God, we're so starving and you're open. Yes. Let's wheel our stuff in here from walking down the sidewalk in South Beach, Miami, wheel our stuff in there and we have breakfast, orange juice and everything, like literally the best orange juice I've ever had in my life."
Yeah. You kept going on about it for like a week after you got back.
Seriously. Now I get Florida orange juice. I so get it now. But so we, do the whole thing. And then we're like, okay, we're going to go and just kind of crash on the beach. And we walk down to the beach after breakfast. And there's all these like really colorful lifeguard stations all up and down the beach. So after we got home from our trip, we're like, we were just in Florida. Let's watch the birdcage. And so we're watching the birdcage and that scene where, you should go away for a while. You look tired, that whole scene, and then walking back up to the apartment and then leading and segueing into the Albert, you pierce the toast scene. We're watching the movie now and we realize that's the cafe that we had breakfast at that morning. And we look up and the scene, like the scene where they're on the beach first comes up, we're like, that's the lifeguard station we just were at. It's like all the lifeguard stations along South Beach are all really big and colorful and no 2 lifeguard station is alike. All of them are completely different from each other. So it's not like, oh, you can't tell that that's that specific one because, station's a station to station. But no, they are all completely different from each other. So we're like, no, this was the big square pink one. And that's exactly where we were. And we walked straight up and that's the cafe that we had breakfast at. We're like, we know all of this. We were literally right there 2 days ago. Yeah. It was fun.
Segueing, I think I was telling you this. I haven't told you yet, but it's really cool. So, I don't know when it's going to happen, but Hump Day Burlesque is having a 90s show, and we're doing a group number as the Spice Girls, and the producer, my friend Katrina, was really nervous to break the news to me that I wasn't going to be Ginger, because I'm a redhead, and she thought I was going to want that so badly. She's like, "Unfortunately, we're going to have to make you Baby Spice." And I'm like, dude.
Not even realizing that Baby Spice was her favorite Spice Girl.
I'm like, you don't understand.
It's like, girl, I'm in. Yes.
You're making assumptions based on my hair color, bitch.
How dare you assume my... I don't know.
Why it got to be about color?
How dare you assume my spice, my flavor?
Yeah. Why you got to bring color into this? Why you got to bring hair color into this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, because we've rambled, but I'm going to take a quick break and run some promos because we always go way long when I have somebody else around.
We like to talk.
Yeah. But we are going to take a quick break and run some podcast promos. I'm not doing a featured show. This is an extra show this week, if you hadn't noticed. So I'm going to be back, and we will start pimping your shit when we come back.
Hey everyone, I am Mike Jolitz from The Mike Jolitz Show, available on Spreaker.com and iTunes soon, I hope. I do a show where I mention some news items, celebrity stuff, stupid criminals, and just silly things I read on the interweb. Proud member of the Podern family.
Mysteries, conspiracies, weird history, and the unexplained. A new topic each week. So join me, Curse the Mole Man, as we crack open a beer and maybe have a few laughs as we explore the weird and the strange of the Couch Potato Files. Check out a new episode every Friday at thecouchpotatofiles.com.
So normally this would be the part of the show where I start recommending stuff and suggesting a podcast that somebody or whoever you out there, dear listeners, should be checking out. Mm-hmm. But as I have special guests here who are, technically here to do some pimping, I think I am going to
let the pimps do the pimping.
Yep.
Let y'all do your pimping.
I love it when you call me Big Papa. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I can't hear that and not think of that movie with Keanu Reeves and all the kids. Mm-hmm. What was it, Hardball?
I've never seen that. I know what movie you're talking about, but I've never seen it.
I didn't cry.
Of course not. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Can't prove I didn't cry.
Oh, yeah. That movie. Oh, my God. That movie fucked me up with some feels.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
That and Chappie.
Yeah, which I still need to see, but yeah.
That's so good.
Let's
start with is it youth before your mom?
Let's let Mother Lady go first.
Okay, sister.
Yes. So the thing I have, so what I do, we were mentioning earlier, talking about religions versus cults and CrossFit and everything. I am I just recently graduated from Scottsdale Community College with a degree in exercise science, and I am taking my degree and turning it into a business. I've been a strength and conditioning coach for the Arizona Derby Dames roller derby league that I still skate for and have been for 8 years.
It's a long time to be in derby.
It's a very long time to be in derby. There's very few people. I can think of a handful of people in the league that have been doing it and in it longer than me that are still there and active. Yep. Everybody that was in my fresh meat group, and has long since retired from derby, and I'm literally the only one left in the league that went through training from my group. Yeah. So I'm the last one. Yeah. But yeah, for the last 4
around, you're the old guy.
I know, right? But no, so I've been a trainer. I've been a fresh meat trainer, for 4 years. I've been the strength and conditioning coach for about 3.5 years, and then got a degree in exercise science. Derby basically kind of got me into a love of, wanting to, not just a love of fitness, but a love of coaching and training and all of that kind of thing. So with that, it developed into, opening up, making myself available to skaters in the league to want to do extra workouts, to help them get stronger and, build up their aerobic capacity and all that fun jazz, outside of practice. And, cause they're just we know we need to do this, but I just need some guidance. And then that turned into, okay, I'm going to actually get educated in this and become certified. And I want to make this my career. And I have since I've gone through, gotten into CrossFit. I've got my CF level 1, a little over a year ago, and I am an on-staff coach at Chuckwalla CrossFit, which is in our old neighborhood in Sunny Slope, which is really crazy. And
we've lived all over. If you drive across Phoenix, you're going to find a place we used to live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But for me, I think the core, old stomping grounds
Yeah.
for the family in general, I think, is the Sunny Slope neighborhood, because that's where we spent the most time as
That was
the
home
six
for
of
the
us.
longest time, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the neighborhood that we lived in when I had Cinda. So
Yeah, and the house you currently live in is not too far from where I was born and almost died.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So emergency appendectomy at 14 years old due to an exploded appendix is not fun.
Literally right after my birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the same week that we lost Papa.
Yeah.
So, which was tragic. But anyway. Yeah. So I basically, like, with Derby, it developed a love for fitness and then a love for training, and got my degree, and working on my other certifications, and got my level 1 trainer with CrossFit, so I can been working at Chuckwalla CrossFit and complete my apprenticeship there. And now I'm actually working on building my own business, because the end goal with all of this for me was to, being an entrepreneur, going into business for myself, and, making my own hours, being my own boss, doing my own thing, and kind of developing my own kind of vibe, which I've really done with the Derby skaters over the years. And I'm just now taking that and expanding it to outside the Derby community to make it a legitimate business. So I host a fit camp every Tuesday night. Right now, during the winter hours, it's at 5:30 in the evening, and it alternates between like every other Tuesday it'll be at my house, and on the other Tuesdays it'll be at the track, like the football stadium track bleachers at Phoenix College. And it's just basically an hour long, fitness camp. We focus on, it's a lot of like AMRAP style workouts, a lot of body weight training, a lot of, cardio and strength training and things like that. But just basically like utilizing what you have and utilizing your environment. You don't have to have, a gym membership and access to, weights and tons of expensive equipment and everything in order to take care of your body and stay active and stay in shape. So that's kind of the aspect. That's the direction that I take it with Lunatik Fitness. So, and I have a website launching on Black Friday, which is going to be super duper cool.
Raevyn Friday.
Raevyn Friday. Yes. So Coach Raevyn is going to have a website for Lunatik Fitness, and it's basically going to have just all kinds of fun, like, fitness inspiration. And you can book. Eventually I'll have like things like, active wear and merch and stuff like that. But it's primarily just to get information for what Lunatik Fitness is about, and booking for one-on-one coaching, programming, personal training. You'll have the option of, if you want to book training sessions, there's rates for training sessions that includes like all the programming and fitness evaluations. Or if you just like, I don't necessarily want one-on-one training, but I just need a direction of what to do in a program, then you can just do that too. It's like flat rate for like a 4-week program and evaluation, versus one-on-one training, So there's a little bit of something for everybody, for whatever their fitness goals are, for whatever their budget is. And you don't, you can come to me or I can go to you. You don't have to have expensive equipment and a fancy gym or anything in order to take care of your body and become a super fit badass,
Yeah, because I think that's probably, when it comes to fitness, that's a really big, it's a deterrent, is gyms themselves are a deterrent. Because you get gym rats and you get, roid monsters that go in there. It's like, do you even lift, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
And those are the kind of, I was like, now I've spent a little bit of time in a gym in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm easily intimidated in a gym environment.
Yeah.
So,
and commercial gyms can absolutely be intimidating. Like, I myself have gone to a number of commercial gyms just as a patron, and there's some franchises that I have found that I just will not go back to at all, no matter the location, because I just find the vibe of the overall, franchise or whatever just really intimidating, because it kind of caters to and promotes to the gym rat type person.
Professional lifters and things
Yeah,
like that.
like, you know, so instead of like just the average person or somebody who's like the average person and eventually wants to be in that kind of shape, but because they're not there yet, they feel really uncomfortable and intimidated, you know, but they still feel like they need something in some kind of direction and don't want to be judged. So
It's like a homeless guy going to a job fair kind of situation.
yeah, it's like, you know, you're doing what you need to do in order to take care of yourself, but the environment you're in doesn't necessarily make you feel very comfortable if you're not quite there yet. So, you know, and also you don't need to have, you know, a squat rack or machines or things like that. You can use simple things you find around the house. You can use your environment. You can just, you know, go to a park and, you know, do step ups on a park bench or something, or do like decline push-ups on a bench or whatever. You know, you can go and there's like this little hilly area at Steel Indian School Park. And like, I'll take people there and we'll do hill sprints. You know, it's like we don't, you know, and then the equipment that I do have is stuff that anybody in any budget can afford, things like resistance bands or a jump rope, you know, stuff like that, sandbags, you know, whatever.
Easily acquirable.
Exactly.
Normal
and then it can give
people
you
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's in a just really like super, you know, comfortable, welcoming environment, especially it's like, you know, you can come to my home. I can go to your home. You know, whichever you prefer, wherever your comfort level is. And then eventually you start building up the confidence in yourself to where it's like, you know what, I'm going to take care of me. And then as you get in better and better physical shape and see the changes in you physically, it starts to trigger something mentally and emotionally where you start to have more confidence, and all of those outside stimuli that might have, you know, intimidated or scared you before are no longer a factor because you're more confident in yourself. Yeah. You know,
sticking with her homeless guy at the job fair, like sort of analogy, you're the shave and the haircut and the resume class before he goes to the job fair. Because if he walks right off the street and goes into the job fair, it's going to get pushed out. And like, you're getting them in shape. Like now you know what you're doing. You're a little more prepared. And now if you want to, you can go to that other big gym if you want to go, or you've got at least the fundamentals to be able to do this yourself and take care of yourself.
Exactly. So it's whatever the client, whatever the individual is looking to get out of it. Like if you just want to help get over that intimidation, great. If you want, you know, a long-term relationship with a professional who's, you know, guiding you on your journey, because it's like it's you and your work and your journey and your goals. I'm just kind of helping you map it out. You know you need to get from A to B, but you don't know how to get there, so I'm just helping you write the map. You know, and kind of, you know, you're driving, I'm steering, you know, kind of thing. So however long you know, the individual wants to get whatever they want to get from that dynamic and that relationship, it's entirely up to the individual and what their goals are and how far they want to take it. So it's funny. When I was a fresh meat skater, I was not the most skilled. I did not come from a background of being athletic. I wasn't an exerciser. None of that stuff. And I thought roller derby was really cool. And I didn't have the nerve to do it for a lot of years. And when I finally did, I found out like, this is like a legit sport and it's really hard. And I worked like crazy, and I wasn't as good as the other girls in my fresh meat group, but I went to every practice I could. I went to extra practices. I went and sought out, you know, the different teams whenever they had open practices and did that. And I put in the work and I did it. And I did not pass my skills test originally. So I had to continue training and take my skills test a second time before I could start skating with my team. And I kind of, you know, I put in the work and I eventually got to where I wanted to be, but it took a long time and it took a lot of trial and error, and it took a lot of, you know, building confidence in myself because I didn't have it. Once I started to get that confidence, we had a big sister program at the time. And I wanted to be a big sister. I wanted to help other skaters that were starting out. And I'm like, look, this is the journey that I've been on, and I worked my butt off, and I didn't pass my skills test, so it's not the end of the world. And, you know, if I can do it coming from having no athletic background whatsoever, there's no reason in the world you can't too. And I did that with all of my little sisters that I had. And they always went from being like, you know, really timid and no confidence and no skill to, you know, being able to kick my butt on the track and kick the butts of any other people on the track and doing really well.
And captain teams.
Exactly. And just going on to wonderful things. And that's why management put me in a training position, because they're like, we've seen what you've done in the Big Sister program. We actually want you to train. Yeah. So I kind of made a joke at the time that, you know, being the underdog in my group, being the underdog on my team, being an underdog in the league, I'm like, I am the patron saint of underdogs. And I kind of just created that label. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of I kind of took that and started to own it as, you know, that's the kind of trainer I want to be. Is like, I'm not here to, you know, yes, I want to build superstars, but I want to take the underdog and show them the superstar inside them. So that's kind of my goal and like my mission with Lunatik Fitness.
And that's awesome. See, I don't even have to talk. And in the meantime, my wife has actually come and sat down, and I'm just watching her reaction to listen to the and she has just been like fixated on this over here. Yeah. So like getting, like the trick is like getting people to, it's like, this is what I can do for you. This is what I've done with the skaters in the league. And I want to take this outside of Derby and bring it to more people and, you know, make a life out of it, make a career out of it. You know, my long-term goal is to eventually open up my own CrossFit gym. But for right now, I just want to start out with my own small business and then expand from there and then work to the big goal eventually down the road. So I'm not a CrossFit affiliate or anything like that. I do have my level 1 and I do, kind of programs similar to like the conditioning programs I have. It's like kind of a mix between like traditional linear, you know, workout programming and like, the AMRAP style of conditioning. Cool. You've basically taken all of like the CrossFit fundamentals and the things that you've learned in your training and kind of, I wouldn't say hodgepodge, but you've kind of created your own sort of system that you're using.
Yeah, I kind of just take a little bit of, because, you know, with my education and with the things that I've learned through Derby, the things that I've learned with school, the things that I've learned through CrossFit, I just kind of take a little bit of all the education and all the things that I've learned from everywhere and just put it all together in a way that makes sense for that person's needs. So, and I bring that to the skaters in the league and I bring that to like other people outside too. So I had one of the skaters who, goes to my fit camps every week, like religiously. She's there every single week and works her butt off. She was in fresh meat. She's been drafted to a team and she just had her very first Derby bout, 2 weeks ago. And in the game, she was unanimously voted MVP blocker by the opposing team. So
by the opposing team.
Well, yeah, because the opposing team votes for the MVP blocker and MVP jammer for the team that they played, and then they vote for an overall MVP on their own team. Mm-hmm. So when the beauties were voting for the MVPs for the Doomsday Valkyries, everybody on the team unanimously said, Indy killed it. It's like, this is her first game and she just was destroying it. She blocked so well. We want her as MVP blocker. Like, she did phenomenal. And then it hit me. I'm like, yeah, she's like the one skater that goes to my fit camps every week, like religiously. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, oh yeah, she got all of that from me. But at the same time, I'm sure it didn't hurt, you know? Exactly.
I was like, I'm not going to say I did that, but I did that.
Yeah. It's like, but no. And I even told her, I'm like, you know, I'm like, your commitment to this, like whether you're getting it from me or wherever, I'm like, your commitment to doing this is what got you that MVP, you know? So, and the fact that you chose me to help facilitate that for you is, you know, really kind of awesome and makes me feel all warm and fuzzy.
So what is the website going up?
It's lunatikfitness.com. It's Lunatik with a K. So
because, spelling things, normally is for losers.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
does that anymore?
Who even does that?
I know.
Seriously, I don't think anybody can spell anymore. I'm a very good speller, and I'm actually kind of a grammar Nazi, like a lot of people in the family are. But yeah, so I just, at the same time,
it's more fun that way.
It's more fun that way, and it's, it's a brand name, and it's like, my skater name has always been Raevyn Lunatik, and I spell Raven differently also. It's spelled Raevyn. So, and then Lunatik with a K, and that's been my skater name for 8 years. So it's like,
that's your brand.
that's exactly.
Yeah.
So Raevyn Lunatik, and then it became Lunatik Fitness as my brand. So, and then being like a metalhead, I kind of took like the whole like eat, pray, love thing, except applying it to the fitness thing. And with what I do, it's like, you're doing the fit life. You are promoting it to people who are like not the typical like fitness buff kind of people. So you're freaks and you're punks and you're nerds and you're weirdos and everything. And you're a metalhead. So it's like strength, love, metal, and you'll see that hashtag and you'll see the emojis and all of that stuff on like all of my posts on social media. And, it's catchy. It works. And it's, all these principles that I promote and I believe in. So
exactly.
And it's pretty much what you've been, not just like physical strength, but like other kinds of strength is what you've been promoting and like been pushing me and my brother and has raised us on is strength, love, and metal. And if, like, whether you realize it or not, but that's kind of carried through like mine, Glenn's life, and you've kind of pushed that on us.
Yeah. And it's kind of been, it's just like the life philosophy that's always been there. And, not just with physical strength with fitness, but, emotional and mental strength and just being able to get through life and being able to handle anything that life throws at you. But with like the like headbanger heavy metal, don't fuck with me attitude, and then just the whole reason you do anything is like, you don't put put all this effort and all this work into anything if you don't love what you're doing. So it all just kind of molds together into this neat little strength, love, metal package.
Yeah.
For the underdogs.
It's always been there. You just finally were able to put it into words.
Exactly.
It's like, this is how I live. And now I actually have words to go with what my life philosophy has really been.
Taking the mission statement and the life philosophy and making it a brand.
Yep. Fun. And it is Lunatik Fitness.
The website is lunatikfitness.com.
Okay.
So.
All right, Munchkin.
Yes. I guess I should start from the beginning. So, my legend dates back to the 12th century. Fool, baka. So, I actually, and you can vouch for this. Yes, you can vouch for this. Is like since at an early age, I have always been kind of a ham and an attention whore and everything, and I wanted to be like.
She's always been the undiscovered star. Anyway.
But, I would, when I was little, I used to go to Erin's, like, cheerleading practices, and watch her, and I'm like, I want to do that, and I would, like, practice with them and everything. I'm like, I want to be a cheerleader, and that ended up not happening, because I'm too weird for that, and too short, apparently.
I used to go out and do, be really heavily involved in the local goth scene and fetish scene and everything. And she loves the music and all of that and would be super jealous that she couldn't go to trans and super jealous that
because I was underage.
I know, because she was like a kid at the time, and she's like, but Mom, you dress so cool and the music is so awesome and I want to go and perform and do all these shows that you do and everything. And then as soon as she was old enough to
honey.
She hit the ground running. Like as soon as she turned 18, she was involved, like trying to just become a star as soon as she became a legal adult.
I kicked the fucking door down. So
yes.
It actually, from there, I, started, I've been, all throughout school, I've taken, choir and theater and musical theater and all these different classes and everything.
All these dance classes and all this stuff.
Well, I didn't start dancing until high school. And I absolutely adored my teacher and had the highest respect for her. And she's actually, involved with, she's one of the star performers in, Scorpius Dance Company, who puts on Vampire's Tale, which if you live in Phoenix, metro area you need to see. It's
every
like
Halloween,
yes.
every Halloween season, like October through like the beginning of November, they put it on, and it's amazing.
It's breathtaking.
But anyways, your particular career.
Okay. So, after discovering my love for dance, and because I was just taking ballet and modern at the time, because I couldn't exactly take my clothes off at that age, I was still like, it still gave me some kind of like
not that that was the goal at that age.
No,
like you were just getting off on just dancing and performing.
Yeah, like I was like that was my high, and it felt like to me, dancing is more of like my spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. And after my first performance, I was crying hysterically, and my teacher was like, "Welcome to the dance department." And I'm like, "I'm gay," and
full on ugly cried.
Oh yeah. And then, like she was saying, I had a couple of friends who were involved in this, like goth night in Scottsdale. So I'm like, "Hey, I want to do this thing." And they're like, "Yeah, talk to this person." And so I got involved with them and did that for like 4 years.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. 4 years. And was just a go-go dancer. And it was fun. I had a good time. I went to every single one, made sure that I was on time and everything was like, I was professional about it. I wasn't getting paid, but it was still like, it was still dancing to me. And it was still I was still getting something out of it. And from there, I decided, I'm like, I've never done burlesque before. I want to try it. And this is the best place for me to just try it. It's a shitty little dive bar. No one's going to care. Yeah. So I tried it. And not only did I didn't do like classic burlesque. It was like I had the classic look, but I ended up having like blackout eyes. Like I was wearing special effects, like, colored contacts and had blood coming out of my mouth, and that was when I accidentally put out a cigarette on myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, that's not bad." So I started doing it over and over again.
And it ended up getting a really crazy reaction from the audience, and she started developing a following for, just mixing classic, traditional burlesque,
with like horror and macabre.
Yeah, with like, gothic horror shock type elements.
So, from there, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. This is like what I was put on this earth to do. So I got involved with Hump Day Burlesque. I got involved with, Pain-Proof Punks, which is, they do both burlesque and sideshow and all of that stuff. Even there have been some hook suspension performances too, which, Rusty has done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there, it was Pain-Proof Punks, Hump Day Burlesque,
Untamed Babes.
No, Agents of Lust.
Agents of Lust, that's
Agents of Lust. I got involved with Agents of Lust.
These are all groups that she still performs with, too. Yeah. Like, she's in everything.
Agents of Lust is cool because not only is it, like, we do performances and events in Arizona, but I'm actually going to be going to Vegas for a whole weekend for my first time performing with Agents of Lust, and I've gone to LA with them. I've gone to Colorado with them, and for a while I was doing fetish performances at Bar Sinister. Just answered a casting call, did a thing, and that ended up not working out for me in the end. But I still got something out of it. Yeah. I still got something out of it. I'm still traveling to LA and performing all over California and everything. And I got to...
It got you exposure in California and started to... And that's how you started to build a following.
That's how I got involved with Untamed Babes Burlesque, which they perform in Lancaster and in Burbank at California Institute of Abnormal Arts. And they do a lot of sideshow and burlesque as well, kind of mixing all that stuff. So I'm like, I found my people.
Yeah. So just to clarify, like when she says sideshow, she's referring to like freak show style performance, like bed of nails and like sword swallowing and fire dancing and fire eating and things like that.
Yep.
Stapling tips to your body with a staple gun. Things like that.
Yes. And I still am involved with all of those things from going from Untamed Babes. I was actually asked to join the Dark Circus LA troupe. to perform with, and
which is a big deal.
Yeah, because they're involved with Batcave, and I get to work with Ozzy Blood, who is a big deal in the sideshow community, and he pretty much does what I do, except more like nitty gritty and not so pretty. Rhymes.
All the rhymes.
But
that's your brand.
That's my brand. Well, speaking of that, if I were to describe my brand, it would be showgirl succubus, because yes, I am a showgirl, glossy, pretty, whatever, but I
usually covered in some sort of glitter.
Yes.
Usually
Very
covered
much
in
so.
some sort of glitter, but also I want to put the fear of God in people with my performances. Like, yes, this is amazing, this is awesome, but I am terrified of you.
Yeah.
Because you see me like now, I'm not an intimidating person at all.
But when you're on stage and when you're doing your shows, there people are like, I can't believe this super adorable, pretty girl is doing this really messed up, crazy things, and she's not, she looks like she's endangering herself, but she's not. And you wouldn't expect that from somebody that looks like her and has this kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've described what you do to some of my coworkers, and I'll show them pictures of you, and it's like, yeah, see this nerdy little girl right here in this normal picture, like when you just in normal street clothes and your glasses and boring, but
Thanks.
you look like a trucker mom right now.
I'll take.
But
she's wearing my Chuckwalla CrossFit hat right now. She just took it off.
And
Thanks.
big, thick, plastic glasses and everything. Like
They're Versace.
But it's like, out of character, you're generally very nerdy in appearance. But when you see pictures of you in character during a performance on stage, you can't even recognize you for being the same person.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of the whole aesthetic and everything. And there's
and why you do what you do.
Exactly why I
You can
do
separate
what I
the
do.
character from yourself completely.
Yeah, because I don't want to be that kind of person where I like to separate the character Little Jae Sinclair from who I am, like, as a person, because if I, and I've been in this position before where if I let the character take over my life, then
you start to lose friends.
I start to lose friends. It starts fucking things up for me, and I've had that before. I don't want that to happen again. Kind of how you explained Alice Cooper. Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's a character. You go on stage and you're this person, and when the lights are on and when you're performing, you're that person. When you go home,
when the makeup comes off, then I'm just little old me.
Yeah.
But
that's not to suggest, though, that it's, there are certain elements to...
That's a different part of her personality. That
there's certain elements of Little Jae Sinclair that are positive things that I think you've adopted into and taken into your personality. That's, maybe a part of you that was there and just couldn't really come out, with just, developing your confidence and your, your sense of self and your fearlessness and things like that, I think came out of, you've embodied that have stuck with you, that you've come out of the development of the Jae Sinclair character.
Well,
without Little J, would not have surfaced.
Well, another thing that kind of developed Little Jae Sinclair was before I developed that character and before I started doing burlesque, period, I disappeared from social media and just kept to myself and didn't do anything because of scary situations, and I actually had developed PTSD because of it, and we're not going to get into that. But
because it's in the past and it's ugly,
sort of
and we're all
necessitated that circumstances got to a point that necessitated separating your professional person from your personal person.
So I changed my name so that those people couldn't find me, and then it developed into a character, and everything that I do, whether even the sexy, funny or campy or gory, everything that I do on stage comes from a place of anger and pain, and it's just my release out into the world so that
turning it into a creative outlet, into a positive performance, as opposed to internalizing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So performing is your therapy.
Exactly. Yes.
And in some cases, you're being paid to have your therapy instead of paying thousands of dollars.
Right? Exactly. And in this case now, it's like, I mean, when you first started, it was, doing the go-go dancing, you're not getting paid. Doing certain, all these shows you first started out with, it was for exposure, you're not getting paid. And then now you're at the point where you're in demand in other cities, in other states, by all these other groups, and people know who you are now when they come to see, we'll run into you in public and be like, oh my God, I love you, Jae Sinclair. I love you. I saw you at such and such. And you're at the point now where you are a paid performer. Like everything that you do now is a paying gig.
And what's awesome and
fantastic. This is your job.
What's awesome and fantastic is I get to work with my heroes. Yeah. Like I'm part of the burlesque community, the freaks and like the freak show, sideshow community, but also still part of, and my home base is the fetish community because I've performed like at fetish balls and stuff like that and got to recently close out the night and share the same stage as Aesthetic Perfection, and I was a little ball of nervous and like insane the entire time.
She killed it. I was actually there. She did fantastic,
and that's why I love that act so much, and I want to put it out in the world for everyone.
The Queen of Roses act.
Queen of Roses, yes. And I felt like that was a turning point for me where I can actually like that act put to rest all of the ugly and all of the stuff that came before little Jae Sinclair. And even outside of dancing, another thing that I still like that I've been high demand of is music videos. Yeah. I've been in 6 or 7 music
Something
videos.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah. And again, I just kind of a mind-blowing, is this really my life right now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
she's at the point now with there's one of her regular gigs is the Hump Day Burlesque show at Lost Leaf twice a month, like every first and third Wednesday. One of the girls that has recently been added to the core cast she joined because she was a fan of little Jae Sinclair.
That's bragging rights. Like, I joined this group because I wanted to work with you.
It's like, I'm a performer because of you. I came and saw your show and you blew me away and you inspired and you made me want to do this myself. And now she's out and doing it.
No, I adore
from I'm I can't believe I'm working with my heroes to now you're somebody else's hero.
Exactly.
when you become the senpai.
Yeah. It's like before it was Notice Me Senpai, and now she is Senpai.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess a couple of show plugs is I tried to start a Patreon, and I don't know what it is about Patreon. I just can't, like, I don't know how to work it, or I guess I'm just dumb or something.
Patreon's a fickle thing.
Yeah,
I've got a Patreon,
it's tricky.
but I don't worry about it too much.
I don't know how to use it, but I do.
But you do have a Patreon.
I do have a Patreon. It's just no content on it right now.
Yeah.
I have prints available for sale. And gonna
through
be
your social media.
Through my social media, gonna be working on more merch and stuff. Maybe some like stickers or buttons, just something small to start out, and then go into like all the crazy things. Like
she does sell, and then at all of her shows, she does have prints available for sale at the merch tables too. So,
I think I covered everything.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Do you have any? Oh, I guess you mentioned you have like prints and things available on your social media.
Yeah.
So where can people find said
Little Jae Sinclair on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. And just I do giveaways sometimes too, depending I'll do like a some odd number count like giveaway or share this thing giveaway, and I'll pick people to send them signed prints or something like that.
Yeah. She does giveaways and fun stuff like that all the time. She's very all over the social medias.
Yeah, yeah, she's
if I'm
better
anything,
at that
I'm consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and especially in sort of, because you're in the direct entertainment world, social media is kind of, and you're young enough that you understand social media. I suck at social media.
Yeah, it's definitely a generational thing.
Yeah.
I feel like
we're old. We don't get that weird social
I just feel like
gobbledygook.
I just feel like it's part of my job. Like it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely
It is the same. It
it
holds the
is here,
same
too.
importance as working on your costume, working on choreography, picking your song, performing, all of that stuff.
If you don't market it,
if
then
you
it
don't
doesn't
market
matter.
it, then like
And social media just makes it so easy to market yourself. You know, it's like these are things that we didn't have when we were, you know, her age
like-
and doing stuff, you know.
That's like Henry Rollins said when we saw that Drag is Punk panel is I didn't become an artist to not be noticed.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm not really doing it to get famous or anything. This is more a cathartic feeling for me, but I want
You do it for the love of performing.
Yeah, I want people to see me on stage and get the same kind of like make them feel something.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm doing.
Get the same kind of rush that you get from performing.
Yeah.
What cracks me up is it was actually at Hump Day Burlesque, one of her very first performances that she did for Hump Day Burlesque. She did this whole like clown bit to Switchblade Symphony where she came out of a box like a Jack in the Box and was like all cutesy and clown nose, but it was very kind of horror themed and creepy and spooky to this spooky gothic song. And then that was the night that they actually coined the phrase fear boner.
Yes. Yes, it was because Jackie said it.
Yeah.
And then
Jackie was emceeing that night and she said it. And then it ended up becoming a thing. And she's like, that's what I do for performances is I try to give you a fear boner.
And then when I debuted the monster at Hump Day, Jackie and Alexis or Lexi came up to me and they're like, okay, you're our like burlesque stage child. So we kind of have that whole paternal kind of feeling,
The
like
motherly thing,
the mother thing going. However, we are very sexually confused right now. And I'm like sorry about it.
I am so terrified by what you did and so turned on and it's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. It's like cover my eyes or cover my junk. I'm so confused.
Yep. Make like a drag queen and tuck it.
Word.
Yes.
Let's not kill me before.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, did I miss anything? Covered?
You pretty much covered all of it.
Okay.
It's your most common, the most easiest way to kind of catch you, your most regular gig, I guess you could say.
Probably Hump Day.
Hump Day and Painproof Punks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Babes, maybe?
That's not quite as frequent. That's probably the most frequent one from when you're in LA, because anytime you go to LA, it's usually for Untamed Babes.
Yeah.
But in Phoenix, like in the Valley, Hump Day Burlesque at Lost Leaf or any of the Painproof Punk shows.
Painproof Punks, their stompy grounds are at Alwyn House, which, by the way, is my favorite venue to perform at.
Alwyn House is super cool.
Well, my favorite Phoenix venue to perform at. My favorite, venue in general is Globe Theater in LA because it's just like chaos every single time and it's amazing. Like I live for this shit.
She does.
Yep. All right. Well, it's been fun. I love having you guys over, and it's even more crazy when all this craziness that you've listened to is just a small portion of the craziness that happened tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was so much chaos. Like we didn't even know if we were going to be able to have anything for the show because we were just so nuts
goofy
before. We're, poor Adam's trying to get everything set up and we're just sitting here just bantering back and forth between the two, between each other. And I can see, I'm looking at my brother and he's thinking, why am I not recording this? Hurry up and record. Get everything set up. This should be recording. There is so much good shit that we're missing right now. We're not going to have anything left for the show. Lo and behold.
Oh,
yeah.
If there's one thing this family can do is talk aimlessly.
Yep.
It's not
and we
entirely,
never,
but it's
entirely,
entertaining
exactly.
though. You gotta
we
admit.
we never run out. We would never run out of anything to say either.
Nope.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of really sassy, opinionated people, and we love pop culture, and we basically, speak a second language of song lyrics and movie quotes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
It's pretty intense. And that's the whole family. Like,
Yeah,
seriously, that's all of us.
Yep.
Like, if my son was here, same thing. If any of the rest of our siblings were here,
Yeah.
same thing. Like, we're all as different and varied as we are. That's like the one thing that all of us have in common.
You got me quoting Empire Records at 2.
Oh, honey, you were doing entire scenes from Empire Records at 2.
But I think that is going to do it for us tonight.
Groovy.
And I always describe the show as tonight. I don't know why. I record in the middle of the day. It's just kind of the thing. I old radio habits, I guess.
Not on tonight.
Not on tonight.
I think it's just because of Dad that I always go to like that.
Well, because
old
Dad
school-
always worked at night.
Yeah,
so.
the old radio sign off, and I always,
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't come up with a more creative way to sign off the show.
Well, and also like the whole cliche, like, thank you, good night.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And see,
kinda where I go to.
with me, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. I will always, when I'm greeting someone, I'll always say good morning.
Yeah. She does. It's
Hello,
weird.
All the time. I don't know why.
Hi, hello, good morning.
And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yes.
But one last round of pimping for little Jae Sinclair. Where can the listeners find you out on the social medias and the internets and the webs and who's what's?
All your
Well-
handles online.
It is Little Jae Sinclair. That is Little, the letter J, Sinclair, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yes. And for me, I am Raevyn Lunatik on Facebook, and it's Raevyn, Raven, and then Lunatik with a K on Facebook, Instagram, Raven.lunatic, and Lunatik Fitness on Twitter.
Oh, we
And-
have hashtags too.
Hashtag patron saint of underdogs, hashtag strength love metal, hashtag lunatic fit,
And lunaticfitness.com.
and lunaticfitness.com officially.
Hashtag Little Jae Sinclair, hashtag Showgirl Succubus, hashtag Fear Boner, hashtag Cult Classic,
Hashtag Queen of Roses.
hashtag Queen of Roses.
There we go. High five.
All right. Well, now it's time for my spiel.
Yes, sir. It is your show after all.
It is my show after all. They just took over.
You let us.
I
You're an
invited-
enabler.
I know. I invited you into this chaos. I knew what I was in for. I think we're only blood relatives.
Exactly.
But for those, I will have the links to all of this stuff and all of their social media stuff in case you can't spell all of that crazy, not spelled correctly words and stuff. In the show notes at odddadout.blogspot.com and on the Facebook page and on Twitter at odddadout. And if you need to, you'll be able to get in touch with all of them. And if you miss any of that, I'm going to be probably pimping the hell out of this stuff too. And if you follow me on Twitter, I tend to share their stuff anyway because they're family. And if I'm going to be pimping somebody, it should at least be family.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of inappropriate.
Indeed.
Whatever.
But that's just how we roll.
That's just how we roll.
I think he just called us hoes.
No. I think I think it's just it's like you and your brother getting Lannistery.
Oh, yeah.
They're not really, we just joke about it because, there's nothing appropriate about any of us, but,
No.
and yet we're somewhat well-adjusted individuals. I don't know how that happened, but that's our family.
Yep.
We're a bunch of freaking weirdos.
Yep.
But thank you for joining us in this craziness and an incredibly extended special I Have Guests episode.
Yay!
And until next week, I have been Adam Higgins, the Odd Dad Out. Thank you and good night.